Happy Tuesday, everybody. June 10th, 2014. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. I just got off of an hour-long interview with Michael Rivero at whatreallyhappened.com. Check it out. Another person doing what yours truly is doing about trying to wake people up as to what's really happening here around the world. And in my case, I'm helping people to understand how to take their health back, how to take control of their health, helping people to understand what MDs are good for and what chiropractors are good for and what naturopaths and everybody else is good for and what we're all bad for, too. Because we're all suffering from the cultural delusion that when it comes to medicine, the MD is the only go-to person available and everybody else is a back-of-the-bus quack practicing some weird type of substandard medicine. It's nonsense. Quite frankly, the only people selling snake oil here have MD after their name. The leading cause of death in the United States, MD-directed medicine. What's up with that? 500,000 people were killed by Vioxx. Nobody went to jail. Can you imagine that? Imagine if a naturopathic doctor gave one person an herb and it killed them. Imagine what would happen. The pharmaceutical industry does it, and we give them a pass. The MDs do it, and we give them a pass. This is how deep the mythology goes. This is how deep these waters are. Everybody's asleep in this matrix. Everybody, well, not everybody, but most people are completely unaware that their MD is the wrong dog for the hunt. For a chronic health condition. Bringing your body to an MD's office if you're suffering with a chronic health condition is a fool's errand, and it is bound to fail because the MDs are trained in a type of medicine called allopathic reductionism, and allopathic reductionism argues that once you're sick, you're screwed. You can't fix it, and your only option is to let the doctor manage your symptoms with drugs until surgery is necessary, and then you die. And isn't that just great? But the delusion runs so deep that once you die and once you're bankrupted, your family gets together and hosts a 5K run on your behalf to raise money, and guess who it goes to? The MDs. It is an insane cycle that just will never stop until, well, you know, the system collapses under its own weight, which is happening. Just hope it doesn't take you down with it. There's things that you can do right now to support and promote your body's ability to optimize its structure and function. We're up against allergy season, right? It's allergy season. Spring allergies are in the air, and I'd like to take the next 9 minutes to talk about the holistic understanding of allergies to help give you a heads up and give you some working knowledge that can help reduce your acute symptoms and maybe even possibly get to the root cause of why you have an allergic condition in the first place. So, when you have allergies, you have an overactive immune system. It is your immune system which is at play. And your immune system is creating cells called basophils, B like baby, A-S-O-P-H-I-L-S, basophils, which are loaded with histamine. And in the presence of an antigen, in the presence of something in the body that your body has developed an allergic reaction to, your body now has an antigen. Your body has developed an antigen which is part of your immune system. So let's say you have an allergy to ragweed or cat dander, for goodness sake, or a carrot. Your immune system has developed an antigen, an antibody, actually, against the antigen of the thing that you're allergic to. And what you're allergic to, the thing that you're allergic to, is the scientists and medical community refers to as an antigen, right? Now, how on earth does that happen in the first place? Well, your immune system had to attack something that got into your blood. Your immune system mounted defense against something that got into the blood that shouldn't be in the blood, and the terminology for that is an antigen. stuff that's in the blood that shouldn't be in the blood, or at a particular molecular size that it shouldn't be in the blood, is considered an antigen, and your immune system will rally around that and try to kill it. And one of the things that happens when you develop allergies is your immune system, in addition to creating antibodies, creates mast cells, which are filled, and basophils. Mast cells are filled with histamine. I misspoke earlier. It's mast cells that are filled with histamines. So your immune system produces mast cells, which are filled with histamines, and the histamine encounters the antigen in the blood and unleashes its histamine. And when you get a histamine release in the blood, you get all of the cardinal classic signs and symptoms of an allergic reaction. So inquiring minds want to know, well, how did the ragweed antigen be considered an antigen in my blood but not in my brother's blood? Right? Because two people can be walking down the field and only one person has an allergic reaction. A cat can jump up in the lap of two people and only one person has an allergic reaction to it. So it can't be the thing itself, the pollen or the dander or the food. It can't be the thing itself, because it was the thing itself and everybody would be reacting to it. Everybody would be reacting to it. But everybody isn't reacting to it, so it can't be the thing. It has to be your body's reaction to the thing, your body's response to the thing, your body's relationship with the thing. So from our point of view, the root cause of all allergies goes to the intestinal tract. In your digestive tract, you have the stomach, and then you have the small intestine, and then you have the large intestine, or the colon. The small intestine is where stuff gets absorbed into your bloodstream, right? So you eat food, it drops into your stomach digests it, turns it into a liquid, and then the liquid passes into the small intestine. And a little structures called villi in the small intestine transport the liquid nutrients through the membrane of the intestinal tract into the bloodstream. And when food enters into the bloodstream through the intestinal tract, it meets the immune system. The intestinal tract is like the border between the outside of the body and the inside of the body. It's interesting to think about, but when a piece of food is inside your intestinal tract, technically it's outside of your body. It doesn't get inside of your body until it passes into the bloodstream through the wall of the intestinal tract, because remember, from the mouth to the South Pole, your intestinal tract is like one long tube. And when stuff is in the middle of that tube, it's outside the body. It's interesting to think about, isn't it? So, stuff that you've just eaten or inhaled enters into the bloodstream through the small intestinal tract, and life is good, unless the intestinal tract is damaged. If the intestinal tract is damaged, it's kind of like having holes in the fence between, two countries. And illegal aliens can sneak through the holes in the fence and get into the country where they're not citizens. Well, when your intestinal tract becomes compromised and damaged by the stress of life, consistent consumption of all the wrong foods, and consistent lack of nutrients, it gets microscopic holes in it, which are referred to as a leaky gut. So now you have microscopic holes in your intestinal tract, and all manner of things can sneak through the holes, enter the bloodstream, and stimulate an immune response. Because when things sneak through the holes and enter the bloodstream, it's a completely different mechanism than when the villi transport them into the bloodstream. Now we have the genesis of some type of antigen, right? So ragweed slips through the holes in the intestinal tract, enters the bloodstream, and now your immune system mounts a response against it. And now every time thereafter when you breathe in ragweed, your body mounts an immune response against it, and one of the parts of the immune response is a histamine release through the mast cells, and you are the poster child of allergies. So, interestingly enough, when anybody presents with any type of an allergic condition whatsoever, I don't care if it's a classic peanut allergy where you need to keep the EpiPen on you, or you're going to die if you eat a peanut because everything swells up so much, or it's a seasonal allergy, or it's an animal allergy, or it's an environmental allergy, dust mites, whatever. Or even if it's a food allergy, a delayed hypersensitivity food allergy that naturopathic doctors talk about a lot. From our point of view, it all goes back to the same cause, which is a funky small intestine. So, interestingly enough, when we are attempting to support and promote the structure and function of somebody's body suffering from allergies, we support and promote the structure and function of the intestinal tract. It's interesting. We do that, number one, by eliminating the 10 bad foods. Number two, by providing the body with the 90 essential nutrients that it needs, the 90 raw materials that it needs in order to function properly. And number three, giving you a little extra immune support. There's a nutrient called quercetin, Quercetin, which stabilizes mast cells and makes it harder for them to release their histamine. They're still going to release histamine, but just not as much in the presence of quercetin. So taking quercetin on a daily basis while you are in allergy season, it's like putting a Band-Aid over a wound to help the wound speed up the healing process. The Band-Aid isn't going to make the wound heal overnight, but the Band-Aid is going to help the body be able to heal the wound and kind of take the edge off of things while you're waiting for the body to rally to the cause. So, if you're suffering with any type of an allergic condition, our recommendation to support and promote the structure and function of your body is 1 healthy digestion pack and 1 bottle of Cell Shield RTQ per 100 pounds of body weight per month. The Cell Shield RTQ has the quercetin in it. That's what the Q stands for. That's 1 healthy digestion pack and 1 bottle of Cell Shield RTQ per 100 pounds of body weight per month. Eliminate the 10 bad foods. Life is good. Stick around, folks. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. This is Tuesday, the 10th day of June, 2014, and this is Fire Your MD Now. Now, another thing that you can do if you're an allergy sufferer is to pay attention to what you just ate or drank immediately before you get an attack, quote unquote. People get attacks of allergies where their allergies flare up all of a sudden and they'll have a sneezing attack for 5 minutes. They'll sneeze 25 times in 5 minutes, or their eyes get all red and watery all of a sudden, or they start coughing up a house. And it happens acutely all of a sudden, and it lasts for, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. When you are in the throes of an acute allergic attack, especially if it's a seasonal allergy, you want to look to see the very last thing that you had to eat or drink. The very last thing that you had to eat or drink. Because there was something that you were eating or drinking which capitulated the allergic response. Something. So, if you have a salad, well, maybe it was the salad dressing. Maybe it was the tomato. Maybe it was the sugar in the salad dressing, right? It's hard to know for sure, which is why you have to nitpick apart what you were eating or drinking. And if you keep a running list of all the stuff you had to eat or drink immediately before an allergy attack, you can narrow it down, figure out the offending foods, and then eliminate them from your diet during allergy season. And this is the smart person's way to gain the upper hand of their body, to support and promote their body's ability to fix itself while they are waiting for the medical nutrition to kick in. Get it, got it, good. We're having a problem with the live stream today. For some reason, the internet program that we are using is being cocky and doesn't want to work. So for today, you're just going to have to be satisfied with my voice alone. Let's go to Georgia now and talk to Katrina, see what's happening. Hey, Katrina, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi. Yes, I'm calling. Cut that off, please. I'm calling about my father. He is 81 years old. He's, up until December, very active, still gardening. I live in Georgia. My parents live in Alabama. He and my mother would drive down every 2 or 3 months to see their grandkids. And in January, he had a stroke, which he was recovering from very well. within a few weeks, he was driving to church again, and then he started to have pain in his stomach over the course of a few days, and the doctors didn't think it was any big deal. One particular doctor ordered tests. He was concerned, and it turned out he had an intestinal tear. And when they went ahead and did the surgery, they found colon cancer. The doctor believes he removed all of it, but he wants to do radiation. He's been in the hospital now for 2 months. They have him on about 12 prescriptions, some of them duplicates, 2 blood thinners. And any of the setbacks that he's experienced have been prescription-related every time, with the exception of, I forgot to mention, he started dialysis. Back in September, I think it was, they put the little, I think it's called a stent thing or something in his arm because his kidneys had been failing, which I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe that was Crestor, because after he started using Crestor for a short period of time in the late 90s, he was diagnosed with kidney failure, and he was fine until last year. They put the stent, I think that's what you call it, in his arm. He was fine, had the stroke in January, and after the surgery, not after the stroke, no, I'm sorry, after the stroke, that's when he started having to have dialysis. So now he's in the hospital still. They had taken him from the hospital to rehab, and then they had to take him back to the hospital after about a month and a half in rehab because his blood pressure has been falling too much. Sometimes when he had the dialysis, bleeding too much a couple of times. I know that's because of blood thinner. And then last week, when they took him back to the hospital, it was because his heartbeat was irregular. So he's been in the hospital now for about a week. They're going to send him back to rehab. And the problems that I'm calling about are that he was over 200 pounds before the surgery. He's lost a lot of weight, and as a result, his muscle mass. And I found out from talking with my mom yesterday, he hasn't been drinking the protein shakes, and I know that that's one of the reasons why he hasn't been able to gain much weight back. And my understanding is that they have corn syrup in them anyway, so I was going to order him some Goteen.
All right, Katrina, you stick around. We got a hard break coming up. I'll bring you back after these commercials. So glad you called. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, inviting you to come on along and join the living, for goodness sake, and just forget about everybody else. If somebody tells you they think that vitamins just give you expensive urine, laugh and walk away. We're talking to Katrina in Georgia, whose father is up against it. He's been in the hospital forever. Katrina, I have to say that I'm assuming your father has really good insurance.
Yes, he has insurance from his job that he retired from, plus, what is it, when you're at that age, you have Medicare, Medicaid, also supplemental, I guess that's.
Yeah, so they're using him like an ATM machine, and while he's been under their care, well, I mean, he's getting worse instead of better, right? Exactly.
He was fine until January, and I forgot to mention also they even have him on prescriptions for sleep apnea and atrial fibrillation.
Well, look.
And I've heard you guys talk about that that's not even a heart issue. So
I'm confused though. I mean, if he's not going to take protein powder, how on earth are you going to get him to take nutritional supplements?
Well, actually, that was one of my questions. Okay. Since the surgery, my father's a hearty eater, but since the surgery, of course, he didn't have an appetite for weeks, and his appetite started to increase about 2 weeks ago. We did get him the heart pack, I think it was, along with the glucogel, I think it is, for the sleep apnea, and the Ultimate Dailies for the kidneys. And he's been taking the pills, but he hasn't been able to take a regular dose of the BTT every day because she can only get a little food in him, and then he doesn't like the taste, I guess, of the protein shakes, and then she puts the Beyond Tangy in a little smoothie, a small smoothie, and tries to get as much of it in him as she can. But I think it's a cycle in that because his muscle mass is gone, he doesn't. They started therapy. He started to walk a little bit, with assistance, but because he's not burning off any energy, doesn't have any appetite, so we can't get as many of the supplements in him on a daily basis as we need. So I was going to ask you, first of all, do you think that I should get a different type of protein powder and make small shakes for him? Would that help, do you think, rebuild his muscle mass so that he could start to walk more and have more energy? Because that's the issue we're dealing with now is he's so small. He's 158 pounds, I think she said now, and he can't walk. He cannot walk because he's weak and doesn't have the muscle mass.
Well, I mean, I've got to tell you, he needs a whole lot more than just protein powder, right? I mean, his body has been in trouble for a long, long time, and, quite frankly, I honestly don't know how much we're going to be able to intervene here, given the, total degradation of multiple body systems across the board, not to mention the presence of all of those prescription medications. If I had to guess, I would say that his appetite is reduced as a side effect of the medications.
That's what I told my mom. And he sleeps a lot, and I know that's the side effect.
Yeah, so look, you have to understand, right, if you put yourself in the shoes of the MD and realize that, the MD is not a sadistic, heartless person. The MD doesn't want people to suffer and die, but the MD is a closed-minded intellectual coward who has been trained to toe the party line. So from the MD's point, your father's dying. It's only a matter of time until your father dies. So their rationale is to drug him out of his misery as much as is humanly possible and just, wait for the inevitable. Because what the heck are you talking about with all this holistic mumbo-jumbo nonsense, right? I mean, that's how they're approaching this and fixing it. So, it seems to me like in cases like this, there needs to be one doctor that is leading the charge here. And that is able to look at his chart and, eliminate half of the meds because he doesn't need all those meds.
That's what we were discussing just yesterday. There are three. There's the kidney doctor, the heart doctor, and I can't even remember the other doctor. But they don't even seem to know what's going on amongst each other,
Yeah, they don't. And I mean, this is. Yeah, I know. It's crazy, right? Yes. And I mean, this underlines, and this is another problem that's inherent in the medical system. I mean, not only are there therapeutics not concerned with a cure, not only are their therapeutics harsh and filled with side effects and upset the balance of the human body, but from a logistical perspective, from a managerial perspective, it's a nightmare because the right hand doesn't know what the left is doing, and, the doctors aren't going to want to go against each other because they have a professional relationship and yada, yada, yada. So they would rather maintain their professional relationship than go out on a limb and say, hey, Frank, I really think you got this guy on too much Lasix. I mean, can we back off a little bit? They're not going to do that, but that's what needs to happen. You need to task one of the doctors with taking charge here and getting your.
I told my mom that yesterday.
Well, so that's what needs to happen next. I mean, and until that happens, for goodness sake, just get as many nutritional supplements as you can into his body. One strategy that I like to use in people like this is you just dissolve the Beyond Tangy crystals in full fat yogurt. You just sprinkle the crystals onto some full-fat yogurt and stir them into it, and then feed him the yogurt. Tastes great, goes down easy, and
throughout the day.
Yeah, throughout the day, and there's more than one way to skin that cat. That's what I would do, Katrina. God bless. Call us back and let us know what happened. I appreciate your trust and your phone call very, very much. Charlene, I think maybe I got that name wrong, from Michigan is up next. Hey, Charlene, did I get that name right? You are live.
About Charlene.
Charlene, there you go. They left off the E. Hey, Charlene, what's happening?
Hey, hon, I got the glucamide, what do you call it?
Glucogel?
No, I can't have the gel because it has shellfish in it. It's glucosamine sulfate.
Yeah, you got glucosamine sulfate from Vital Nutrients, right?
Right, okay. I need directions now. How many to take? Because I don't know.
How much do you weigh?
I'm at 140.
How many are in the bottle?
100, 500 milligrams.
There's only 100 caps?
Right. I bought 3 bottles.
You sure there's not 180 or 120? Because 100 caps is just a weird number.
No, 100.
100 capsules in each bottle, so you have 300 caps. And tell me what the potency is of each pill?
500 milligrams.
Of each, glucosamine and chondroitin. 500 glucosamine, 500 chondroitin?
Right, 500 each.
Okay, so I want you, please, to do 15 a day. 5 with breakfast, 5 with lunch, 5 with dinner.
5 lunch, breakfast, 5 lunch, 5 dinner. Okay.
Yeah, that's a really good place for you to start. You want to take that particular supplement with food. It's much easier for you to digest, much easier for it to go down the hatch. Make sure you're using salt. Don't be afraid of salt. Take all the other supplements. Keep your fingers crossed. You really need to take this particular product for 21 days before you can judge it up or down. So don't be surprised if it takes a little while for you to realize improvement. Now, I've seen people with chronic joint problems, when they get on board with the right supplement program, experience noticeable and measurable change within 3 days. I've seen that happen. But, you know, it's kind of like if you were to start a thyroid medication, right, you wouldn't be able to judge whether or not it was the right dose or how effective it was until it's been in your body for 3 to 4 weeks because it needs to build up in the bloodstream. This is similar. So give it a full 21 days before you judge it up or down. Take 5 capsules 3 times a day in addition to everything else that you're doing, and keep your fingers crossed, Charlene. I'm expecting good things for you.
How about gelatin? You told me to take gelatin.
Yeah, so the best way to do that is to go to the supermarket and in the Jell-O aisle, get a couple of boxes of Knox gelatin, N-O-X, just unflavored gelatin, Knox gelatin.
I already started taking it, but how about cow gelatin? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great. How much do you do a day?
A couple teaspoons a day.
Okay, so do 1 teaspoon 3 times a day. Every time you do the glucosamine, every time you do that other supplement. So I want you to do 3 teaspoons a day of the gelatin. And I don't care if it's bovine gelatin or Knox gelatin. I want you to get it down the hatch 3 teaspoons a day. And
then, okay, I have to take only like a half of the Beyond Osteo FX because it's a little bit aggravating a little bit when I have a bowel movement. It itches and it's sore, so I stopped and it's better now.
Okay, so what you need to do in that case is you need to take the full dose every day, but you need to spread it out with, 3 or 4 or 5 smaller doses. So the target for you, I think, I wanted you to do 2 ounces a day. Is that correct?
Yes. In the morning and at night, yeah.
All right, so 1 ounce is 2 tablespoons. So then you would be doing 2 tablespoons twice a day. That's a total of 4 tablespoons a day. So for the next couple days, please do 1 tablespoon in 1 ounce of orange juice.
I don't like orange juice. It's not good for me.
All right, so 1 tablespoon in 1 or 2 ounces of water.
Okay, that's what I do.
4 times a day. 1 tablespoon 4 times a day. I want you to spread those doses out, right? First thing in the morning, between breakfast and lunch, between lunch and dinner, and then right before bed. You should be able to tolerate 1 tablespoon at a time. See, it's not the supplement per se. It's how concentrated a dose of the supplement you're taking at any moment in time. So when you spread out the doses...
Yeah, I noticed that. I just took like 3/4 of a capful, and it's no problem. I don't
all right, so there you go. That makes you the smartest person in the world, right? So you just got to figure out a proper dose, but you need to get the full 2 ounces into your body every day. And, it shouldn't be painful. It shouldn't be a hardship at all. You mess around with it, you'll be able to figure it out. You're a smart girl. So give that a run, Charlene, and call me back in about 21 days. Go ahead, quick.
I just take 2 scoops of BTT. Is that okay, or...
Well, 3 would be better. At 150 pounds, 3 would be optimal. But 2's okay. And don't, you might want to try it in the yogurt. Put 1 of the scoops in some yogurt. Just sprinkle the BTT on some yogurt, stir it around, mix it in. That's another way to get it into your body. Mixes things up a little bit.
Yogurt, okay. So how many scoops do I need then? 2, 4, 6?
No, just 3. 3 level scoops a day is perfect for you. 3 level scoops a day, Charlene.
Okay. And what about the kidney stuff? Should I forget about that for now until I get this situated?
I would like to see you do the Ultimate Dailies. The recommendation for that is 6 a day. But do what you can, 1 thing at a time. In a perfect world, I would have you do 6 of the Ultimate Dailies a day as well, 2 with each meal. Thanks for the call, Charlene. Stick around, folks. Terry in Virginia is up next. Dr. Peter Glidden finishing up the first hour with our old friend Terry in Virginia. Hey, Terry, thanks for the call. What's up?
Hey, Dr. Glidden. Yeah, this is Terry from Virginia. I wanted to talk to you about the liver cleanse you wanted me to do a while back when I was having some dark green stools for about 3 or 4 mornings straight. Well, you wanted me to get an occult blood test kit at the CVS pharmacy, which they did not have here in Roanoke, and neither did Walgreens. So I ordered one online, and I just got it a few days ago. But meanwhile, my stools turned from a dark green to brown, and I could see that my food was not being digested. And then this morning, my stools were completely normal. So
well, maybe all this color change is a sign by God that you should be an artist, and you just need to get into some color here. Did you do the occult blood test? Did you do that?
No, I haven't done it. I don't know if you want me to do it now or not.
Yeah, I want you to do it now. It's called occult blood for a reason, because you can't see it. So, I need to know whether you're bleeding, because that dark green stuff is suspicious.
Okay, well, it's called an Easy Detect kit that I ordered from Texas.
Well, that's better than a difficult detect kit. I always like the easy, right? Easy's better.
Yeah.
So just follow the instructions. Life is good. Now, this is one of the things, right? From our point of view, the majority of times that people are afflicted with a health condition, there are strong and persistent symptoms. Sometimes things can be hidden and you can't see them, like high blood pressure is called a silent killer, because you really have to be mindful in order to know that you have high blood pressure, but a blood pressure cuff will reveal it right away. Somebody could have full-blown liver disease and not know it, but a blood test would reveal it right away. So you need to know here whether or not there's a blood thing going on here. But the good news is that, if there was a big bad voodoo daddy present here, I would suspect it to be producing strong and persistent symptoms on a regular basis. It hasn't done that. Your stuff has gone back to normal. Could have been the beets that you were eating, right? It could have been that. Could have been just some funky thing with your digestion process, comes and goes like a thief in the night. But, better safe than sorry. And I mean, for goodness sake, since it's easy, just do the test. You have it all ready. And call me back with the results. Well, actually, you don't even need to do that. If the results are negative, you're good to go. You don't need to worry about this.
Cleanse, huh?
Yeah, do the liver cleanse. Why not? Because
liver cleanse.
Now, that's, and just FYI, a liver cleanse for anybody to do for anybody, is a good thing to do once a year. I recommend people do a liver cleanse once a year just as part of, an overhaul and maintenance of your body. I mean, you change the oil in the oil filter in your car, right? You change the filter in the heating system in your house. Well, you got to give your liver a little bit of support once a year. It's a really good thing to do, whether you think you need it or not.
Okay, well, I've got one more question I want to throw out at you. Whenever I first started talking to you, it's been about 6 months ago or more, I called you in and asked you about MediShare as an alternative to some type of health insurance. And you went online, you looked it up, and you said, no, it's insurance. Well, for some reason, I decided to look into it again. I took another look at it. I went to medishare.org, M-E-D-I, and then that little line in there, share.org. And I watched the videos on there, and it's not insurance. It's a very good thing to consider, and so I would like you to take another second look at it and tell me what you think about it again. And if you're impressed with it, will you please call Alex Sasco and see if he can, if you can interview him?
All right, really great. Medi-share.org.
M-E-D-I, and then that little line in between.
Yep.
Share.org.
All right, Terry, you're the greatest. I appreciate the heads up. I'm on it. Now go do that liver cleanse. Appreciate you. Stick around, folks. Much more to come in hour 2 today, June 10th, 2014. Fire your MD now.